It's rolling on it. What is it?
Purchase your tracks today.
Know the people been waiting for a minute for something authentic. Came in the truth and bossed in it, made niggas regroup. Had to shed light on the false image. UPK whole court. Now who the fuck won scrimmage? 2 words for soft niggas. What is good riddance? Don't affiliate with feminine symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This a death threat to hip hop. You don't stop that weak shit, I'ma mix your lean with some Grimlock. When the last time you heard it this raw? What I wish for's when the earth inherited by the piss poor. We been to war, them the ones I'm taking risks for. Ain't got no picks or no cars to hold. Holy angels watch my steps, them Glock guard my soul. Can't let them leave my body cold. I know you feel me, nigga, let the wicked weep and the meek prevail. God never been 50-50, I should now awake and sleep a cell. Let the righteous cry, silence the pretender. A rebel without a cause, as long as I remember. Not taking the kingdom, the only thing on my agenda. Can't avoid me, nigga. Middle finger to the ones that try to destroy me. Revenge of beauty, I'm a beast. I told the bitch she can't eat, let she join me for dinner. My God ain't got no regard for a sinner. One call fall on him like timber. I know you feel me, nigga. In the eyes of terror, I stand still. Go to work for the colony, bring it back to the anthill. Plus everything I drop heavy as an anvil. Show you how to stand like a man in this damn field. I know you feel me, nigga. Fuck equality, it gotta be one man win and the rest lose. Wave devastator, I'm calculating my next move. UPK will real niggas seek refuge. Body shots for bars, that'll get you bruised. My niggas home ranker, check your little attitude. I came to fuck up your mood on your little holiday like I'm Mr. Scrooge. Resurrected from the grave, walking from the fall. Visions in my eyes, gripping the mic, screaming God bless the underdog, down by the letter. And live by that protocol, walk by faith, not by sight. Ain't no hope for getting struggles. Life like several war, resist or get pulled into a world that never left you. I will endure, election will be sure, correction will be swift. No Will Smith, but I am legend. What else would you call the killer of deception? A leader got soldiers on post in every direction. On go like a German shepherd, young and a restless, wear honor like a diamond necklace. I know you feel me, nigga.
Purchase your tracks today.
It's rolling on it. What is it?
You understand? You done found a new breed of Hebrews that stand and walk with the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and we don't care who we got to come up against. You ain't standing before this truth. You understand? We done took them all on and gonna continue to take them all on.
Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of truth to this tree of life. Open up the book just to see I'm right. Reminiscing on my ancestors, on those ships who had to plead for life. Took us to a place where ain't never safe there. Poisoning our foods and put our children up in daycare. Fresh out of slavery, still thinking that they care. Guns in the community, children can't play there. Brothers still brainwashed, we died for that same cause. Took away our history, believing that we ain't lost. Brother, I'm an Israelite, sin is like kryptonite. Brothers won't pray, no, they'd rather link a chick tonight. Praises to the Most High, I ain't like most guys. Eyes on the future, but I learned from a boat ride. Tribe of Benjamin, inherited on both sides. Background Jamaican, mistreated and I know why. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites. Cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite. Die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites. Cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Kwam Yasha Allah, sons of the power. Rise from the ghetto when Satan want us devoured. The seal of the Lord ain't found in church towers. Never dying on my knees like no coward. Wanna be an Israelite, you gon' need more than fringes. You gon' need to show you approve and get in them scriptures. Oh, I forgot to mention, traumatized from the lynching. Homicide, we the victim. Homicide ain't the ending. Kids with PTSD, suffering symptoms, never getting treatment. Something he gotta sleep with. Stockholm syndrome so long, and it ain't a secret. That's why I die for them brothers I'm facing east with. Cause I'm an Israelite. Crackers better get it right. Visions of my enemies' death flow through my dreams at night. And if your mind ain't there, then we don't dream alike. Reporting live from hell, home of Christians and Edomites.
I'm an Israelite. Die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites. Cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite. Die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites. Cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
While they play the sidelines, comfortable on benches. Catch me on the front lines, putting work in trenches. Making sure our election, preparing for Armageddon. Mastering this profession of prophesying these lessons. Protecting our adolescents and answering all their questions. Teaching the love they reflection, no matter what the complexion. We got a common connection, a part of God's hand selection. A shot at the resurrection, through us achieving perfection. But to give life takes sacrifice. Battle demons every vice. Short days and long nights. Less sleep and more fights. More wisdom, more strife. Telling everybody that they wrong and you're right. I'm an Israelite, blood of an Israelite. I ride for my Israelites and die for my Israelites. We owe a debt cause Christ paid the price. So who ready to give their life the life of an Israelite?
I'm an Israelite. Die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites. Cry for my Israelites. Through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite. Die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites. Cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. One west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy and get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends or we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nah, but he abdominal. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical. Guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to them pussy niggas that's popping shit. Team of all-stars, I coach them up like I'm Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid, shit has gotten retarded since. All the dominance of one west rising to prominent. Cause I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got Groupons for Uber. Rhymes hard like they been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta, niggas wildin', they win every dollar. They riding by in black Impalas, let the semi holler. The showstopper been as proper since the teeny bopper. But now I'm going them off Patron, a premium of vodka. I put extensions on the Glock, modified the chopper. The swore heavy, war ready, and that's worth the mama. West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me.
ISUPK. ISUPK.
Shalom, Israel. We are the ISUPK, started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and we've been led under Commanding General Yohana, and we've been bringing forth this truth since 1969, and the truth that we've been bringing forth is that so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'm Officer Bashar. This is Thursday Morning Milk, coming to you from the Detroit camp, and we call it Thursday Morning Milk because we deal with what's been known as milk scriptures. We teach the basics of what's called milk scriptures. We get down to the nitty gritty of some basic things that every Israelite should know. That every Israelite should know. And what we want to talk about this morning, and study this morning is the subject of brotherhood. And why is that important right now? The subject of brotherhood, because you're going to need your brothers, your sisters to get through the next couple of months, because in this particular Babylon, this is the they crazy holiday seasons. Just went through that one called, it started back with that one called Halloween. Then we just came through one called Thanksgiving. Now that's crazy as all get out. Where Native Americans, Hispanics, so-called African Americans, as a people, we sat down and celebrated a celebration that this nation has, this country has, this people has, that celebrates their victory over us. It celebrates, Thanksgiving celebrates the killing of 77 million so-called Native Americans, just so America can exist. And we were killed, us Judites were killed in the process, and including our Hispanic brothers and sisters, our Latino brothers and sisters, they were killed. They were killed. And now, this country is into its holiday season. They expect us to keep going right along with it. And you made one of the officers, Zaraq, pointed out to me that this time of year is hard with that music they play on the radio and stuff like that. And it is. And this is why you're going to need your brothers. That's why we're going to concentrate on brotherhood scriptures, you see. Get your pencil, get your paper, get your Bible. Make sure you take notes, write these precepts down. We're dealing with brotherhood in the milk scriptures. Now, why is it important? Here's another reason it's important to deal with brotherhood. Brotherhood is a weapon. The weapon used against us, when you go back and study that Willie Lynch letter, whether it was true or not, but if you look at the psychology behind it, the psychology that's been used on us, all the propaganda, all the insinuations, everything that's been used against us has been from the nature of dividing us. We've had black and brown barbecues so we can reunite with our Latino brothers out in California and other places. Texas always trying to reunite with our Latino brothers, but look what America does. America drives a wedge, has been driving a wedge between us and our Latino brothers since the second president of Mexico, since before then. They drive a wedge between us and our so-called Native American brothers and sisters. And why would they do it? Didn't they drive a wedge between us as individuals within our own nation? And so why would they do that? It's called divide and conquer. In that Willie Lynch letter, and I'm paraphrasing, but you can look it up, you can Google it. This fella came, and as he began to give a speech, he said, look here, there's a number of differences that exist between slaves. And what you want to do is that you want to highlight those differences and pit them against one another. Pit the tall against the short, the fat against the skinny. Pit the dark skin against the light skin. Pit the woman against the man. Pit the adult against the child. At every angle, if you see something that there's a difference, pit them, make that an issue between them. And look at us today. Look at us today. We fight each other over the damnedest stuff. My hair is more nappy, so I'm going to fight somebody or develop a disdainment for somebody because their hair is fine. Or I'm going to develop a disdainment for a brother because he's tall and I'm every bit of 5'7". This is what America has taught us, and they use it every day. They bombard us with it every day. when you turn on the TV, you're going to get bombarded with it. I remember when these brothers was getting killed, they still getting killed. Before Black Lives Matters, I remember folks asking the questions, what did he do? Okay, so look how they get you. A brother is shot by a cop in the back, right? A brother is shot by a cop in the back, and when it comes out on the news, the thing they want to highlight on is, well, this brother did attend this particular school. You know, he was a teenager, and in that school they got this particular gang, and whether he was affiliated with that group of young men or not, they turned a negative spin on his life. You see that? They turned a negative spin on his life. So, as you can see, the reason they do that is to keep us apart from one another. Why do they not want brothers to come together? Why do they not want brothers to come together? The reason is because if the brothers come together, then they can defend themselves, they can defend their home, they can defend their children, they can defend their wives. And if you're in a position where you can defend your position, nobody can take it from you. And you, from that position, you can build. You can build your family, you can build your people. Salahida, Yashalala. So let's get to the scriptures. Let's see what the scriptures has to say about brotherhood. The first scripture we want to go to is, of course, 1 John 4:20 and 21. Here's another reason we teach brotherhood. We concentrate on brotherhood because in the Christian church, they don't. They teach individualism. They teach do what you want to do. They teach you responsible for yourself and that you're not your brother's keeper. Regardless of the rhetoric that you hear, you see, all leaders lead by example. I don't care who they might be. They lead by example. If you want to see the example of individualism that Christianity teaches, just look at how rich your preachers are, how rich your entertainers in the Christian church are, compared to the average parishioner sitting out there in the seat. They take those people money, whether it be through tithes, through donations, through assessments, through the selling of entertainment records and different things like that, CDs and whatever. You know, I'm dating myself when I talk about records, but they sell their music to these people. They sell their preaching to these people. They sell their seminars and their tapes, and they are some of the worst people when it comes to leeching off of our people and giving nothing back in return. You can walk with me some days through this east side of Detroit, and you see that these communities are wrecked. Where our people are, they're wrecked, tore up from the floor. First scripture we want to deal with, 1 John 4:20. If a man say, I love God. Now, that's important. Because everybody who don't declare to be an atheist, regardless of their religion, will tell you they love God. They have their own rendition, their idea of who God is and what God is, but they say they love God. The Christian churches, well, I love the Lord, He heard my cry, all that kind of stuff. They got the rhetoric down. They know just what to say, how to say it, when to say it. If a man say, I love God, and he hateth his brother, he is a liar. You got that? You got that? If you run around talking about you hate another Israelite, or you hate somebody, another Judite, or a Gadite, or Issacharite, if you're talking about you hate Mexicans, and you happen to be so-called black, the love of God ain't in you. You're a liar. If you say you hate Native Americans and you're Mexican, you're a liar. If you're a Native American and you say you love God but you hate black people, you're a liar. If a man says, I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar. Now, that's how heavy is that? Look here. And we're going to step on everybody's toes. We're going to step on everybody's toes this morning. If you run around here talking about you love God and you got a problem with the brother next door, you hate him, for whatever reason, then you are a liar. Going to keep reading. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, it's your brother that you see, whether you see him on TV, whether you see him at the store, whether you see him wherever you go, on the bus, just hanging out, down at the burger joint. You see your brother, you see your sister on a daily basis. And you can't love them. And you can't love them. You see the hurt. You see him when the folks won't let him, when the baby mama won't let him see him children. You see that sadness and that heartbreak on his face. You see the sister walking down the street with 7 children, 6 baby daddies. The baby daddies ain't around, and she's just trying to figure out how she gonna get from to the next day. And you hate her. You see her pain and you hate her. You see the hell we live in. Any Israelite, anybody from Yasharala, you see any of this hell that we live in, and you can hate one of us. You can hate one of us. He that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he has not seen? You got the Most High sitting up there scratching his head, talking about what's wrong with this Negro. Huh? What's wrong with this fella here? Talking about he loved me. And that's how he looks at. That's how he's looking at your Christian pastors, men and women alike. Now we look at them. How can you say you love me? That's the question the Most High is asking. How can you say you love me when you taking all those people's money that they can't pay their bills? They got to choose. Watch this. You got to choose between food and medicine. Between food and medicine. You're forcing them to choose. How can you love them and you taking their money buying Mercedes? Mr. Preacher, Mr. Gospel Entertainer. Living in mansions, high on the hill, looking down on your own people, like you some damn white man in his heaven. But it's going to all come crashing down. Verse 21, and this commandment we have from him, that he who loveth God love brother also. This is a commandment. This is a commandment. Get that. And we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. The commandment is that we love our brothers. Period. In the scripture, you'll find a greater love hath no man than this, and he will lay down his life for a friend. That's why in this truth, in this ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we say no cowards, No excuses, because we all will kill and die for one of our brothers, for one of our brothers' children, for one of our brothers' wives. We would kill and die defending this nation. We will defend and die defending this nation. We have no problem defending this nation, standing up for one another. It's interesting. You got to be careful how people joke with you. On the slave, one or two, Jakes out there that still have no clue to what this brotherhood is about. And it's interesting to watch them approach it in a joking manner. Talking about one of my brothers, because there's a few of us that work at the same slave, a few here in the Detroit camp that work at the same slave. And Jacob approached it, want me to take sides on anything against my brother. He done lost his mind. He still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it. That joking of taking sides against one another. I know we're competitive, that's one thing. But that's one of the things that they've used against us. Willie Lynch said pit everything. Make them pit everything that's different about them, pit it against, cause them to pit themselves against one another. And we should not perpetuate that clash. We shouldn't do that. That's not love at all. Let's move on to Matthew, 25th chapter. Matthew, the 25th chapter, and start at verse 40. And I might get into this a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and bring it up. By the time I teach from my notes and I have scripture written completely out, sometimes I'm going to jump over here and pull it up from the Bible, because we might go wrong with this. Matthew 25, verse 40, and the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Let's back it up, back it up, back it up. This is a separation. We're going to go to 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goat, all the nations. You see that? He's going to separate them according to nationality. According to who you are. You're an Edomite, you're going to get over here with the Edomites. You're a Malachite, you're going to get over here with the Malachites. You're an Israelite, you're going to get over here with the Israelites. He's going to separate all nations, gather all nations, and separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the earth. Now, this is how deep Yahushua, our King, holds brotherhood from the foundations of the world. For I was a hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. I'm going to stop right there, that part. That's pretty important. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. 2.5 million African-American men and women, so-called African-American men and women, are locked up in the United States prisons. United States prison. Michigan itself has over 35 standing facilities, I believe, that's operational, and 45 just standing there. They got facilities waiting to be filled. And they're going to keep filling these prisons up with folk that look like me, folk that look like you see. Brotherhood is a weapon that we ought to use. And he's showing us here that just because a person has been in prison or is in prison, that's no need to spurn him or put him away or her away. And ye came unto me. Verse 37, then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee, Salakia, when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. Here's the deal. How we treat one another is the service that we render unto our King. Y'all got that? When counseling with my Rhea, sometimes I remind her, I'm the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. And I'm paraphrasing, protector of the body, savior of the body, you see. And if we are in a heated discussion, she might tell me, she upset about something. She might tell me, well, you ain't Christ. Then I use something I've heard, I've learned. I'll ask her, if Christ was here, if Christ was in the room right now, and Christ was here, would you listen? If Christ was here, would you do this or would you do that? And of course, the invariable answer is yes, of course. Anytime you ask somebody that, if Jesus was here, if Christ was here, if Yahushua was right here and giving the orders, would you? And the answer is going to, of course, be yes, I would. Brotherhood requires you to do the same for your brother. He places men over us. So if you give us an order, we will follow. Khan. But America teaches, the church, the Christian church teaches that if I have a problem with a brother that's placed over me, watch this what they teach, because I don't like the order. Not that the brother did an ought against me, not that I got an ought against the brother, I just don't like the order. I just don't like him giving me that order. But if Yahushua was here and gave me the same order, I would do it, right? So therefore, brotherhood requires me to Khan. Inasmuch as how I obey that brother that's 2 seconds over me in rank is how I will obey Yahushua when he issued an order. How I treat my brother officers below me in rank, and my brother troopers and my brother students, that's how I would treat, that's how I treat Yahushua. If I look at them and I'm super selfish, then I'm just that way towards Yahushua. You can't unmix the two. Inasmuch as you've done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, whatever it is. Did you dog me out because I was a little older? Did you dog me out because I'm a little weaker? Whatever you do unto your brethren, you do it unto Yahushua, for they're his brethren too. You got to remember that. Not just you, not just me. We're talking about brotherhood as a weapon. And when you look at it from that perspective, then guess what? We just ought to have no problem dying for our brother. We ought to have no problem standing up for our sisters. because we're standing up for our King. And practicing brotherhood the way the Bible spells it out, we are setting an example to the entire world of what's to come. When Commandant General Yohana issues an order, and then General Hyman or the other generals grab their order and pass it down to the captains and pass it down to the officers who pass it down to the troopers and the students and get it done. This is an example of things to come when Yahushua gets back. And so we must, this brotherhood is our weapon. This brotherhood is our weapon. Let's go to John now, chapter 13, starting in verse 34. A new commandment, this is again Yahushua speaking, I give unto you, that ye love one another. That ye love one another. As I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Let's stop right there. And let's get a grip on this thing called love. As we talk about brotherhood, let's get a grip on this thing called love. First, what love is not. Love is not this woozy, ethereal, warm, fuzzy feeling we tend to get when we around, let's say, the opposite sex. That's not love. That's lust, but not love. It's desire, but it's not love. Love is not that great, warm, fuzzy feeling when we see a brother or sister who don't have sex, don't have nothing to do with it. But we just like being around them. That's not love. That's not love. Again, that's desire. That's affection. That's not love. That's not love. The Bible says this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. If you keep the commandments of God, then you love him. So when Yahushua come here and say, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. What he did do, watch this. What he didn't do, it wasn't a bunch of hugs and kisses and all of this. What was going on was a whole bunch of checking. A whole bunch of teaching these disciples and the commandments of the Most High, and teaching them how to live them and adhere them. That's why Peter got checked on a number of occasions. You see, told to mind his business. He would deny him 3 times. All the disciples was checked for their unbelief. Was checked. Yahushua showed his love. He said, love, that you love one another as I have loved you. He loved them by checking them. He loved them by teaching them the word of the Most High and requiring strict adherence to those teachings. There's a part in the Bible that say, after they heard this, many fell away. When they was talking about eating his body, and they didn't understand. Many fell off following after him. Only a few remained. A remnant. That's what the Bible teaches us. A small portion. A small portion. We're numberless when you think about it. Israel, you cannot count all the Israelites in the world. Why? Because we're scattered. And even though they know who we are, they dare not count us. they dare not count us. If they count all the Israelites in America right now, I'm sure if the governments would recognize us as an individual nation, we would be the majority in this country. So-called Native Americans, so-called Latino American, Mexican Americans, all the brothers that come in from the islands, come in from the Caribbean, all the Cubans is here, the Haitians is here, the Negro, the so-called American Negro that's here. Yeah, and yet, because we are not practicing brotherhood, we live in the most horrible conditions.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Salaki. And because we don't practice this brotherhood, because we don't practice the law, statutes, and commandments, we don't hold each other to that standard. We don't hold each other to that standard. We live in the most horrible conditions you can live in. Every time a black man goes out into the street, he got to worry about getting shot down by the cops. By the cops. White brothers ain't killing each other like they used to because the cops killing us. We shouldn't be killing each other either. My Latin American brothers and sisters walking up here to some safety, and they want to send troops to shoot at them with rubber bullets and throw tear gas on them. Brotherhood. We ought to be mad as hell the way they treating our Native American brothers, so-called Native American brothers, and so-called Mexican brothers and Spanish brothers. If you're from Lithuania, you can get into America with no problem. Like the general brought out, if you from Korea and you come on these shores, they got a room that all the writing on it is on the outside is Korean. If you don't read Hangul, you don't read Korean, then you don't know what that room is for, but they do. They do. Same with the Chinese, the Vietnamese. And they keep their law, statutes, and their commandments, and they practice their brotherhood. That's why there's a Chinatown, a Jewtown, these types of towns in every other city you go to. Chinatown. And even Orientals are now starting to work a little bit together, so they got a whole side that's all that. The Arab got their own part. Come out here, go. You been to Hamtramck? Been to Hamtramck, Michigan, or Dearborn, Michigan? They're practicing their own style of brotherhood, and it works. We don't practice any brotherhood, but the Bible, our records require us. Our King Yahushua requires us. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another, and love is correcting. That's why I correct my wife. Teaching, that's why I teach my real. That's why I've been corrected by officers over me and been taught by officers over me, because that's love. Verse 35, by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. The world will know that we belong, that we are disciples of Yahushua, that we are subjects of Yahushua, when you can take a checker in public and keep it moving like ain't nothing wrong. Khan, I don't want Khan. Brotherhood, that's brotherhood. Instead of getting all in your emotions and in your feelings, the brother didn't have to say that in front of me and say that to me in front of these folks. So the brother didn't. Brotherhood is super important. It's more important than individuality. Brotherhood is super important. And when we can obey those we don't want to obey, our brotherhood just simply gets stronger. When we don't understand and we obey anyway, our brotherhood simply gets stronger. This brotherhood is, without this brotherhood, we stay destroyed. It's our weapon to come back together. Matthew 5:22. Here we go. Now let's look at some things in this brotherhood, some other stuff Yahushua talks about. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And why would the Bible even have angry with his brother without a cause? Here's the thing. One of the things that's been used against us, like I said, has been to pit us against each other. We upset with our own people, and we don't even know why we upset with them. We are the only, well, we may not be the only, because they got the Hatfields and McCoys and them feuds like that. But we will hold a grudge. We will have it out with another Israelite family. We will hold a grudge against another Israelite family because our great-grandmama, auntie, got into it with their cousin on the other side of town about 150 years ago. And so these two families don't get along. Angry without a cause. Brother accidentally stepped on your shoes. It was an accident. Brother accidentally bump into you on a crowded bus and you spill your coffee. It was an accident. There's no cause to get angry. You have no cause to get angry. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of counsel, but whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. You go at your brother all out the side of your neck. And yet when some heathen got your sisters cornered in a nail salon throwing acetone in their face, all you can do is ooh and pull out your cell phone. But a brother accidentally step on your shoes and you want to pull out a gun. That's not brotherhood. You see how they got us all mixed up. Brother gets shut down by the police. We ask immediately, what did he do? We ask that. What did the brother do to make the police shoot him? The police can't be corrupt. Why? Because our mind we have been taught, brainwashed by the Christian church and those governmental powers that be. We've been brainwashed to think so low of ourselves that we have no respect for our own life. And therefore, to take another brother's life is nothing. We see ourselves as dehuman instead of superhuman. We see ourselves as less than. When the Most High said He'll set us on high above all the people that's on the face of the earth. How did we get in such an opposite state of what the Most High intended for us? By disobeying laws like this brotherhood law, by disobeying the law, statute, and commandments of the Most High. And this is one that we can actively begin to and measurably begin to re-keep. Brotherhood. You walking into the store, the Most High to bless you with a slave and all that. You walking into the store, you're going to get you a little fifth for the weekend and sit back and y'all going to do some things and the brother out there stinking a little bit, dirty clothes, trying to stay warm, say, can I get $2, man, so I can get something to eat, even though you know you're going to get a drink. You're like, oh, you're going to get a drink, I'll buy you a sandwich. I'll buy you a sandwich, because you know all you really want to do is go there and get him a little pint, half a pint or something. And then you have the nerves, the audacity to be upset with him because he asking you for $2 to get a drink when you finna go spend $50 on the fifth. The same thing. He is just smaller than yours. That's hypocritical. That's not love. But that's what the Christian church teaches. That's what the Christian church teaches. Let's go to Luke 6 and 31. We're finna go to Luke 6 and 31. As ye would that men should do to you. Now, I like, this kills all the hypocrisy. Just to cut on any, I don't care if you're a good Christian mama, whatever, y'all cut right here. As ye would that men should do to you. This Luke 6 and 31. Just have it. Do ye also to them likewise. All right. It's real heavy. Where we want to start with this. And this still talking about brotherhood. But brotherhood is on all of what brotherhood is. Everybody knowing their lane and walking in their lane, staying in their lane, and living that way. Everybody. From the highest appointee of Yahushua down to the youngest baby in the truth. We all walk in our lanes and we do our best to stay in that lanes. And guess what? Those over us let us know when those lanes expand. What are we talking about? As ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them. We'll start in the school. When there's an officer of 1,000, when I give an order to an officer of a man of 50, I want to hear Khan, I don't want him Khan, and watch him move out smartly to make that happen. Understand? That's what I want. So according to this scriptures, Luke 6:31, if that's what I want to happen when I give a man an order, it say, do ye also to them likewise. That means when the officer of 1,000 is there 2 seconds before me gives me an order, then I'm obligated, you got that? I'm obligated to say, Khan, I don't want Khan, and step out smartly and get that order accomplished. I'm obligated. That's brotherhood. As ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them. Now, I know sisters out there, I'm going to mess with y'all too. Sisters out there that got children, right? Y'all got children, and some of y'all got grown children. And you give your child some instructions, or you try to help them out, and you tell them, look, you need to do this, and this. What do you want your children to do? Say, okay, Mama, I got it. And go do it, right? And just do it. You don't want them giving you a whole bunch of mouth and all of that. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them. So sisters, mothers, you've been put over the children. Older women, you've been put over the younger women to teach. You teach them certain things. And you want them to say, come and move out smartly and take care of whatever you're right. So you don't be in the position of a hypocrite, do ye also to them likewise. Who's over you, my sister, that you are responsible to, that you answer to? Be it your husband, your father, your uncle. There's a head over you. And when that head over you give you a set of instructions, what do you do? What do you do? Do you argue back? Do you say, wait a minute, you need to listen to me? Do you complain that he gives you too much to do? Do you complain that he never listens to me? Or do you simply say, Khan, I want Khan? We're talking brotherhood. We're talking brotherhood. And when we use the term brotherhood in this sense, it's all encompassing. It takes in the masculine and the feminine. You see. Brotherhood covers. Brotherhood protects. But if we don't stay in our lanes, if we don't con, I don't want to con who we should be con, I don't want to con, then guess what? Brotherhood, it loses its power because we're not practicing brotherhood. We're not practicing brotherhood. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them. Like I said, this is definitely a cut on the Christian church. How is that? Well, let's just start with your preacher. Let's just start with your preacher. The preacher want to make sure you get them tithes and offerings in there on time every week so what? He can pay his bills. Him and his family can be taken care of, right? So, doesn't he have an obligation now to take care of the people? And does he take care of the people? I don't believe driving a Bentley while 1/3 to 2/3 of your congregations are getting some form of welfare. That's not treating your brother as you want to be treated. That's not treating your brother as if you want to be treated the way you want to be treated. Is that how you want to be treated, Mr. Preacher, Miss First, so-called First Lady? The way you have to choose between food and medicine because you had to pay an extra $40 assessment for the pastor's anniversary? Get out of here. That's crazy. Is that how you want to be treated? No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. As ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Just like I need not to attempt to rebut officers over me. Officers under me need not rebut me. Wives need not rebut their husbands. You see. Just like children need to obey their parents. Preachers in these Christian churches ought to just quit because they are walking contradiction. They are walking every preacher I know, whether he's famous and making money now or not, his dream was always to get him a church big enough that he can live comfortable, drive a Cadillac and put a pool in the backyard. That's all. And if he took care of God's people take care of him. But it's really a money scheme. Let's go to John 15, 12, starting at the 12th verse. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. We talked about that. He loved us with correction. He loved us by teaching us this word, teaching us our history, our law, statutes, and commandments, and returning us to the Most High and keeping that. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And that's because he taught us that. That's why they killed him. And guess what? It was some Jakes that turned him in, Judas. 30 pieces of silver. Turned him in. Why? Because they've been using this psychology against us forever. Give us Barabbas. Give us Barabbas. That's what the Jews were screaming to the Romans. That's what we were screaming to. Give us Barabbas. This Yahushua cat, kill him. You don't know him. As the whole people turned against him. A handful of us would stay with him. That's it. A handful of us. And because he was teaching the law, statute, commandments of the Most High, because he was teaching this brotherhood, this is why he was killed. Because he was baptizing us into this truth. Ye are my friends, verse 14, if ye do whatsoever I command you. And he commanded us to love one another. We're going to take a short break and be back in just a few minutes.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, and Christ, and fall up under that UPK banner, is my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground. Nah, this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We will not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just sit to pray up to the Lord. I told him, then let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race that made merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take round, take round, take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth, nigga, cool yo. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay dearly. You should've used your common sense. My seal lit, that means you could never prevail. Hey, with a true sit, hey, with warriors dwell. Be wise with them weapons, cause I promise. My nine just like my wife, she concealed, she modest. I know two things, a robber will not prosper. And any man harm me and my octave gon' meet the doctor. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die so you can miss me with that love talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret it. What that means? Fall on his ass. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Long live one West. Say what? Long live one West. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for. Tell them back up. I'm about to drop something heavy for. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down.
All right, we're back. We are back. We have this tendency to hold grudges. Let's deal with that. Matthew 18:21 starting at the 21st verse. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? You know, and we can't identify with that, because they seem like people just come and just use you and abuse you, and don't nobody treat you as bad as family treat you and all that. So we cannot understand Peter's question. How often, you know, got this cousin and got this brother, and man, every time I turn around, he's doing something slick, underhanded, whatever. How often? But he always come back and say, forgive, I'm sorry. How often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Yahushua saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Now that's 490 times. Now, I wouldn't advise somebody to sit there and say, okay, this is the 491st time, so now no, because the idea here is it's such a huge number of something so detailed to keep track of. But guess what? You're gonna forget where you left off. You're gonna lose track of how many times. You won't be able to count it. And so what Yahushua is saying here is forgive your brother. As often as he come and ask you for forgiveness, then you forgive him. Then you forgive him. That's what's being taught here. You don't sit up here and say, okay, that's the 50th time, that's the 75th time. No. However many times your brother sin against you and ask for forgiveness, you forgive him. So lock it up. It won't happen again. You forgive him. You forgive him. Let's go to Mark 12:31. And the second is like, namely this: Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. This is part 2 of what some people in the Christian church call the new commandments. Thou shalt love the Lord. Somebody asked, or the greatest commandments. Somebody came to Yahushua and said, what's the greatest commandment? He said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind, and all thy strength. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is like unto it. And Mark's rendition say, and the second is like, namely this: Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Now here's the question: is who is your neighbor? What we're going to do, you know how we do it. We're going to go to the Bible to find out who's your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Because when some silly people read that, they really believe their neighbor is the Chinaman that lives next door, or the Arab man that shares a back fence with them, or the Edomite that lives across the street. We're going to go to Leviticus 19 and 18. I want you to listen real closely. We're going to discover who our neighbor is. This is Leviticus. This is part of the law. Thou shalt not avenge. Leviticus 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. You see that? What are you talking about? Well, you say don't bear any grudge. Don't hold no grudges. Don't avenge. They do something, they ask for forgiveness. Forgive them. It's the same thing. Forgive them. Nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Talk about your people. It didn't tell you about anybody else. Say your people. Thy people. Blacks, natives, Hispanics. so-called blacks, native Hispanics, the lost sheep of Israel. Let's keep reading. Thou shalt not avenge, Leviticus 19 and 18, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor. What? Ain't that what we just read over the New Testament in Mark? Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. In other words, your people. Your neighbor is your people. You look over there, you see that's another Israelite. That's your neighbor, wherever you find it. Wherever you find him or her, that's your neighbor. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love the rest of Yasharallah the way you love yourself. This is brotherhood. You can't get it any clearer. You really can't get it any more fine-tuned. It comes down to you must love your brothers and sisters. You have to. Or we are lost as a people. You are lost. If you don't love me, then you're lost. If I don't love you, then I'm lost. And here's another thing. Let's get this clear while we over here. Let's clear this up while we're here. No matter while we on this of how to love, there's some loving you ought not be doing, that we ought not be doing. There's some loving we ought not be doing, that we so guilty of doing. And that is loving other folks. There's no way must be something wrong with my little search thing here. Yeah, it is. No problem. I'll just paraphrase. You can't love Yasharallah and love the Edomites too. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't love blacks, Hispanics, and Native, so-called Native Americans, and love the African. So you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve two masters. That's Matthew 6:24. Again in Luke 16 and 13. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. This is what you cannot do. You cannot love Yasharallah and anybody else. You can't do it. Because everybody else is confederate against us. Everybody. You think I'm joking? You think I'm joking? Everybody is confederate against us. What's that, Psalms? Psalms 83, starting at verse 5. Well, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. You can't love. You can't love Koreans and Japanese and Chinese and still love Israel. You're going to hate Israel. If you love anybody outside of Israel, then you're going to hate Israel. You can't love them. For verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Listen to this. You can't love Edomites. You say the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes. That's 4. Gabal and Ammon and Amalek and the Philistines and the inhabitants of Tyre. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 9. That's 9. They have conspired to make Yasharallah no longer as a nation be remembered. And look how Yasharallah is looked at today. We're African Americans, we're Mexicans, we're Guatemalans, we're Puerto Ricans, we're Cubans, we're Indians, Native Americans. We're everything according to the people, these other people on the face of the earth, except for Yasharallah. They've wiped our name off as a people, and then they stole our name and put it on some Edomites. They said, these are the Jews, these are the Israelites, these are the Jewish people. How can you love anybody else? How can you love anybody else and not love your own people? It's impossible for you to love outside of Israel and still love Israel. When you go to show your love for anybody else, you're showing your hate and your disdain and your disgust for yourself first, and then for your people, Israel. Yahshua. That's not brotherhood. Brotherhood is loving Israel and only Israel. That's true brotherhood. That is true brotherhood. Before we get out of here, we're going to bring something up here. Make sure everybody know about it. December 1st. December 1st. All Israelites are welcome. It's the feast of dedications. It's the Feast of Dedications. I'm sharing it on Facebook. Hanukkah, December 1st. That's this Saturday. Where? 13498 Hazel Ridge. We're going to have a Feast of Dedication there. Tune in to us on Facebook, ISUP Detroit Online Classes. Give the number on the screen a call for more information about the time. It'll be Saturday, December 1st, before sundown. For sundown. Be here at the school, 13498 Hazel Ridge, Detroit, Michigan, 48205. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Let me see if I can put this up to the camera and see if it can come in pretty clear. If you can see that. There you go. Pay your tithes. Pay your tithes. Remember, when you pay your tithes in here, Commander General Yohanan and the other generals, what are they doing? They're paying bills. They're paying light bill, gas bill. They're paying rents to the people, for the people. They're helping brothers what? Taking brothers off the street from selling drugs, being cracked out, whatever other drug, alcoholic out, and they bring them into the school, and they turning us into priests and prophets of the Most High. Pay your tithes. Pay your tithes. You see. And with that, we want to say Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Shabbat Thumb, to my brother, Shalom, Yahweh, Shema Bashem, Yahweh Shah, to my sisters, to my Aqua. Remember, we are the ISUPK coming to you out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Been coming to you under Commanding General Hammer, spreading this truth since 1969. The truth is that the so-called blacks, so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Shalom, Israel.
To find something to follow, had loyalty, every man tried to borrow, felt pain and a lot of sorrow, got betrayed, sold packs, I didn't even have my heart broke, living confused, about to lose hope, cops got me on the side of the road, like a sideshow, need an antidote before I croak, now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, for this guitar smoke, rebel with no cause, trying to find direction, the world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword with a